Hello everyone, and welcome to another one of my Blender tutorials. And what I'm going to show you, demonstrate here today is what I call an animated texture wipe. And what I do here in my spare time is I make animated GIFs for different clients. There's one that I'm making an event banner for his Google events. And it's a 1200 by 372 dpi. Anyway, that's the size of the image. So I've been using Blender for a while, and I've watched a lot of different videos, probably over 100 videos since I've been using Blender. So what I want to do here is I'm going to put the links in the descriptions, but I discovered a technique where initially I learned how to animate a texture, and and then I learned about the orthographic camera. Now I use orthographic camera because I turn these into animated GIFs, which I really don't need perspective, and I'm not really showing any depth of field or anything. So that's been a plus, because eventually I do the animation, output it, and bring it into Photoshop and turn it into an animated GIF from there. And currently Blender doesn't, they say they won't support a direct export, but I suppose that's based on the fact that eventually we're going to have animated PNGs once they get the standard to work out. But anyway, so I use this, and I've used two pieces of, I'm going to give credits in the description of where I got these two little pieces of information, and then I found out how to not only do a texture animation, but actually how to do a wipe across it. So I'm not going to go through it step by step. It's fairly complicated, but if you understand Blender, you'll see what I'm doing. And so I'll show you the what I've got so far. We'll go to the camera view here. If I can get my, there you go. So for this example here, I've actually got a render preset I use here I call Square GIF, which I use to test out animated GIFs. And also I use the orthographic camera, as I explained earlier, because I really don't need perspective or depth of field. So anyway, what I wanted to show you here, I wanted to show you the node map that that you have to do for this plane. And what I did in Photoshop is I created a little square image and brought it in as a under the mesh. We add an image. Images planes. That's what I did. And once I had that in there, I took my Photoshop file and I used the layers and made another image the same size as a multiple UV map. And so that's what's required here. And in the node setup, the software animator, he showed me how to do this. He didn't know to do it really right off. But what I have is I've got two image textures here that go into an emission. Now I'm using emission because I need the self-illumination for the GIF, so I didn't really have to have any lights in here. But this is your image texture. But what I learned from Sci-Fi Animator was that to accomplish this, you have to attach an attribute with the name of the UV map as well for it to work out and eventually render the files. When you're doing previewing it, it may not show up unless, if you don't have this attribute attached, you won't be able to preview your render and see it happening. And it's probably important because it specifically tells Blender exactly, by using an attribute, which is names of these two maps. I have one, actually this one here was blue A, but I turned it to a G. But anyway, I'll show you real quick. I'll do a quick test render and you'll see what's going on here. Now normally you can do this and it just fades between the two texture maps. Well, that's okay, but I want to get a little fancy and I want to do a wipe. And I'll show you what it does here. It actually wipes from one texture to the next. And what I did here, if you look at the nodes, I put a mapping texture and I animated these values here. If you can see, let's see if they will refresh. You can see that Y value changes, and I just accidentally found out it was at a diagonal, so as that Y value changes, it moves the mapping texture across it. And then I got a color ramp where I've got a real narrow, I've got transparency here and I've got white here. Initially I did this with black and it would show a black, but now I've got this this texture white with a soft fade. I got the ease set, and when you set it for a constant, it's just a sharp line across it. So I didn't want that. But I'm going to give mentions to the people. It's not, I just took small pieces of information from each video. I've watched so many, and I put them together, and I've got a really cool technique. And this, you can take this and go into your animation and output it to a folder here, and then I would take these 60 frames and bring it into Photoshop and turn it into an animated GIF. But anyway, I hope that helps, and I'm going to let's see. I want to make sure you can take advantage of this nodes map. I'll try to zoom in. And anyway, you know, like I say, I use attributes to tell, but see what I did here on this one? I've just got the fade up here, and now I've got it hooked in, and it goes in as a FAC or a factor into the mix shader. This does, and it allows me to wipe between the two with a soft by animating this Y component here in the mapping node. But you can see here the attribute. It's connected between the attribute for the top one into the fact where it goes into the color ramp. But anyway, just want to show it to you, and I'll play this animation one more time. Let's see if I can get back to it. Pull another window out here, and I'll show you what it does. Actually, there's a 3D view over here, and just hit the render button, put in render mode, and you can watch how it works. But so this is you know, I took one guy's technique and another technique and put them together, and this is pretty cool. So now when my client needs an animated GIF, I got something a little fancier that I